we're just waiting for animals to get up, start feeding again, in this case bears. And there's essentially 4 different parts that we can pick out bears. We have one open hillside in front of us, we have one hillside behind that one, and then to the right of it there's like 2 10-year-old clear cuts, which is pretty overgrown now, but you can still have pockets where you can see animals. And at the very, very tippy top of this mountain, there's the 4th one, which is again 10-year-old clear cut, so it's pretty overgrown. And on that top part, it's just a bunch of huckleberries, and that spot is usually like the honey spot, where out of this whole area when I hunt here, that's usually the one spot where I always see bears, or at least I see more bears than all the other areas. I was just glassing up there, and I got a glimpse of a bear. Not the greatest glimpse, because we are talking like maybe 1,500 yards. Yeah, 1,400 yards. So it's pretty far. And he's kind of just milling around. I can tell he's feeding, but I'm just waiting for him to come back out so that we could get a better look at him, get better footage. But unfortunately, he's not in the right spot for us to make a move on, because we don't have enough light to get up there. It's going to take us maybe an hour just to get up to where we can pull a shot off. And even then, he's in a pretty tricky spot, because basically if you go up there, it's so thick that if you're going to shoot him, you have to be right in his face, which that doesn't always go as planned. So I guess we can say that we can just drop a pin on this bear, and later on in the season, if I still haven't filled my tag, I know there's a bear up there, and I don't know, just keep tabs on him. To the right. Oh, I see him. Yeah, he's right here. Alright, well, we've been sitting here. We maybe have like 20 minutes left of light to glass. Saw the first bear up this way, and then glass to our far left. Big old jet black in the middle of the binos. But we don't have time to make a move on them, but that's 2 bears on a random bonsai glassing trip. It might be the same bear, man. It's pretty nice size. Oops. I think it might be the same bear. It's pretty nice. He could have just... I don't know, that's a big distance to move. But he was moving pretty fast, though.
That was like the same ridge we first saw him on.
Yeah, he just kind of... could have just got...
I don't know if he just like kept going zigzag.
Probably. I mean, he moved. He was covering ground.
I felt like that one's a little bit smaller though, but it just could just be my eyes, because it is a little bit darker.
I don't know. Could be. Man. That brush. Oh, there he is, down low. That brush is so thick. Oh, I think we saw the same bear. That bear is just moving all over the place, trying to find berries, I'm assuming. But I'm sure you guys can tell from the footage. Super grainy, super pixelated. That's just because we don't have light. I think we'll leave it on that note, though. We know there's bears in here, which is a good sign. Which usually means there's huckleberries in here. So, not today. It's not their day. I'll be back sometime later if we need to. Well, it's a couple days later, and we are back up here, same area this time I'm not with my brother, but I am here with my dad. And today's Friday, so we're gonna hunt today, the evening, and then depending on how tonight goes, we'll hunt tomorrow as well. But we know there's at least 2 bears just from that trip with my brother, so my dad and I, we're gonna go back in there and just see if we can't, make something happen. It is hot, it's smoky, so it's hot, but the smoke is helping block out a lot of sunlight, so it's not as warm as it should be, which is good. I'm assuming it's going to help the bears come out a little bit earlier than at last light, just because it's not as hot. But that's just all predictions, though. We're going to go in there and find out what's actually true or not. Alright, it is so hot. I'm sweating like crazy, but we just turned this road right here back into the basin, and I look at the very tip top of this mountain, and there's already a bear. So he's already out, which is good because we have plenty of time to get up there if we want to. But he's in the same patch where I spotted the first bear a couple of days ago. He's in the same patch as the first bear, not the second bear. Meaning this bear is in the hardest spot to get here, but just a jet black. I saw him for a bit. He went off into some brush. So bear spotted. We'll see. Normally when I hunt, I don't load my rifle, but my dad and I, we split up. So my dad's gonna go and sit this berry patch where I spotted the second bear from the other day. And then I'm essentially in the same glassing spot so that I can cover all this country. There's not really much I can do to hunt here. But since we're also going to hunt tomorrow, I figured I'd just sacrifice tonight and just glass and pinpoint as many bears as I can. That way, in the morning, we know which options we have in terms of what bear to go after. So, just going to load this rifle just because I'm by myself, and in case a bear pops out like 15 feet in front of me, I'll be ready. But it's 5 o'clock, 4:58, so we still have like 3 hours to go until last light. And so I'm just gonna sit here behind some brush right here so I don't get beamed by the sun. So this bear is a different bear, and he showed up in the most killable berry patch for me, and I don't know where he came from, and I also don't know how I missed him, because by the time I saw him, he was already in the middle of the berry patch. Unless he just came out of some of that tall brush right in the middle of the berry patch. That makes sense, but man, these bears are just cruising. They hardly stay in one spot, so it tells me that these bears, they're hungry, and the berries are still relatively sparse. Because if you've never bear hunted before, let me tell you, this is essentially a way for you to gauge how many berries are in the area. If there's not a lot of berries in an area, bears will just hit one bush, clean out that bush, roam around, try to find the next bush and clean out that one. So that means that they have to constantly be on the move to find enough berries to eat. But when a patch is just loaded with huckleberries, bears will stay in like a 10-yard vicinity. And a lot of times they will actually sit down like me, and they'll just like eat huckleberries just like how humans would. That's if they're in a thick huckleberry patch where it's just loaded with berries. But from what I have seen with all these bears, like they would stop, feed around for like 10 seconds if even, and then just move on. So that tells me the berries aren't heavy in here, but there's enough to keep the bears in here. But this makes it extremely hard to hunt, because if they're not sitting still for you, you're not going to have time to put a stalk in on them. So the only way for you to really shoot a bear is if you're already sitting on that berry patch waiting for them to come out for you to shoot, or it's just luck of the draw and you're just walking up there and then you just bump into each other. That's 2 bears, and it's only like 5:15 probably. Yeah, 5:10. So that's a good sign. Bears are moving out. All the overcast and smoke is helping keep the temp down a little bit, and it seems like these bears are a little bit more comfortable with moving around way before last light. So I just cannot believe I missed him. Bear number 1 just popped out into a clearing top right of where I last saw it. It's behind a bush right now, but hopefully he comes out to that clearing just to the right. That way I can get a good look at this bear. He looks like a pretty nice bear from what I've been able to tell with my previous footage, but man, this bear looks like a nice bear. Yes, come out. Oh, that's a slob. Oh, that's a shooter all day long. No doubt. Okay, we have a shooter. I'm glad he stepped out for me. So we confirmed 2 things on that bear. Again, no cubs, so it's a shooter. 2, it's a big bear. So we'll put him as number 1 priority for now. I mean, it's only like 6 o'clock. We still have 2 hours left. And we still have so many other pockets of huckleberry patches that we haven't even seen any activity in yet. So we're not just going to focus on him. We're not going to get tunnel vision on this bear. We're going to keep our eyes open, drop a pin on that guy, and we'll just see how many other bears we can spot. I'm sorry, there's not much of a scenery change because I'm sitting here, but bear number 3. Not a super big bear, but decent bear. Just caught a glimpse of it. It's back in the brush, but it's only 6:25 and 3 bears so far. So spotted one right up here, right in this little opening. That's the second bear. The first one is way up the mountain, and then the third one that I just spotted now is just like right along this middle line right here. Bear number 3 dipped off into the timber where I couldn't see it anymore, and then it just went straight up above the road, and then it cut back to the right into the open so that I could see it again. And it's just feeding on huckleberries as usual. Another lone bear. So this bear is shootable. Not quite as big as bear number 1. This might be the smallest bear out of the 3. Granted, the second bear and the third bear, they're pretty similar in size as far as I can tell. Like, neither of them are small, but they're also not big. 6:45 p.m. I spotted bear number 4. If my dad listened to me, he would have shot that bear right now. So earlier my dad and I split, and I let my dad go take the good spot. Basically, if you go to that berry patch over there and a bear shows up, like, you're within range. And I told my dad, I was like, you need to sit there until dark. And 6:45, like 10 minutes ago, I turn around and my dad's behind me. And I'm like, Dad, what are you doing here? It's only 6:40. And he's like, there's no bears here. And I look at that berry patch and there's a bear. So my dad just got back to me, and my dad's like, I'm too tired. If you're gonna go after that bear, you're gonna go. So I'm packing up and I'm headed over there right now because, oh my gosh, dude. I told my dad, man. I was like, you need to sit there until last light. If my dad listened to me, he would have shot that bear. I am partially dying, but at least the scenery is nice. Whew. spend so much time trying to get the kill shot on video that you kind of have to put down your shot as like a secondary thing. Self-filming is not easy, but it's rewarding. I don't know. That last like 5 seconds, I wasn't looking at the bear because I was still like trying to get my gun set up. And then when I looked back up, like he was just cruising up the ridge. So I don't know if he like saw me or what, but he definitely was kind of booking it. Kind of. But he didn't look that spooked, so. Wind is my face, which is perfect. I just don't know where this bear went. It's so thick in here. So I took a look at the footage when I was getting ready to shoot it, and you know, I'm kind of happy that I did not get to shoot it because that bear is pretty small. So I think that was a blessing in disguise. So that bear was tiny. I mean, it was an okay bear, but right now, since I'm already back in here where it's just huckleberry patches, there's another ridge to my right that I'm just gonna sit and wait on because something else could pop out in from that timber patch. So we're just gonna sit here for maybe another 15-20 minutes, and then we'll just go back to my stuff and then just go back to my dad and go back to the truck. The goal today is we're going after Big Hank, the one that I spotted at the top of the mountain yesterday, the big one. So in order to get up there, we have to leave a little bit earlier than usual. So I woke up at 4 o'clock and just kind of got all the packs and gear ready. And so now we're going to hike back in there and see how it goes. I don't know if this is going to happen with a big one, but you never know until you try, so. It is so hot. No joke. Alright, made it to the road on top. It's just breaking dawn, so I think we're doing pretty good, despite being a little hot. Started from the bottom, so pretty happy. Whew. Sweating like a pig. The big boy is right up here. The other one was down this way. I'm to the top of the mountain. Anything can happen from here on out. So I'm just gonna slowly cruise my way along this road and just keep an eye out above and below the road. It's thick stuff, so if we see something, it's gonna be a close quarter. Whew. It's hot. down on the road like 20 minutes ago is the big bear from last night that I spotted up here. Because he was in the same general area. He was right here yesterday. And where we bumped into him is only like 200 yards down this way. And he looked just about the same size, same color. It could be a different bear, but my gut instinct says that that's the big bear that I spotted up here. We just, crashed paths and just didn't have time to pull the trigger. That's the downfall about this spot is this spot's extremely tricky to shoot a bear up here. You can spot bears up here all day long, but to get a shot off, like, all the cards have to play out perfect. You gotta get in close and you gotta basically catch them before they catch you. But in that situation, like, we were just walking up the road and we bumped into him as he was coming above the road, down to the road. I caught him like sliding down onto the road. And so I was like, Dad. And then my dad looked behind to look at me. And I was like, the bear's in the road. My dad turned around and looked at the bear, and that's when the bear took off. I don't think it got it on video, but that was a good bear for sure. Which, again, I think it's the big bear that I spotted up here. So it's okay. We got a long day ahead of ourselves. So we also know there's a bunch of other bears on this mountain. So we're just going to be patient and just hunt along. It's getting hot, and a lot of bears around this time, they just go back and hunker down into the dark timber or the tall brush. And so I picked out this spot for me to sit for the day, because at this point you're just waiting for the evening for the bears to come back out again. And so right now all I'm going to do is wait for like the next 10 hours. And so I got comfortable here. Nice little shaded spot, and I've been chilling here for maybe like 25 minutes. I had something walk up in the huckleberry brush. I kept hearing it rustling. It got to like 5 feet in front of me. I couldn't see what it was, and this grouse just flushed out. I'm not gonna lie, that scared me. He's chilling in the tree, but yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Nice little male blue grouse. Grouse are probably my favorite bird to go after, but season doesn't open until September 15th, so for now we'll just seek him as a friend. That was wild. It's raining. What a miracle. It's just been overcast. The temperature's been relatively cool. And now we have rain. And so, when the temperature's like this, especially in August, you just never know when these bears are gonna get up and feed. So, I moved down maybe like 150 yards from where I was originally, and now I'm just in the thick of it. I can't see very far, but I'm just in a patch of huckleberries. Just gonna keep my eyes out, keep my ears out. A bear might just walk right up to me. I hope it doesn't rain too hard. I didn't bring my rain gear. I didn't think it was because that's like close quarters. But then behind me, like 180 degrees behind me, there's that open hillside where I spotted bear number 2 from yesterday. And I was just kind of, looking all over the place, and I was like, man, that black dot wasn't there earlier. That's gotta be a bear. Sure enough, it was moving. He's like around 300 yards, but it is so thick. It's like, the visibility is just bad. And aside from that, like, I'm on a steep hillside, so I'm not even sure how I would even set up for a shot, but he is working towards me, so I don't know. It's like 11, 12 o'clock. It's midday. This weather right here is perfect, and these bears are out right in the wide opening. So I don't know. It looked like a nice bear. I didn't get a good look at him, but it looked nice. But I will get set up just in case he shows up. That is fresh sign, but I'm moving spots. I came over on this road, and I'm gonna go sit on this other berry patch over there, and I'm gonna sit here for the rest of the day. It's too hot to move, so I'm gonna throw all my chips into this last spot. There's bears everywhere, so just gonna be patient and wait for them. This has been absolutely insane. There's bears crawling everywhere. You just don't know which nook and cranny you're just gonna see a bear, man. Like, I've seen them almost everywhere. We're talking about, this is midday, perfect weather, bears are out cruising. I had that bear at 411 yards. I was gonna take a shot, and then he walked up the road to 480 yards, and I was getting set up, but I disappeared, so. Oh my goodness. This is bear heaven here. It's just crawling with bears. With how active these bears are, like I'm telling you guys, there's gonna be a time where everything's gonna come together. That is so cool. That's the first color phase I've seen. Just a nice dark chocolate body with like a blonde mane. That was a pretty bear. Just didn't give me enough time to set up. just see a flash of black go up in the brush. I'm like, bear. So I was sitting like 5 yards away from all my stuff, so I snuck over here. He's right there. He's rustling in the brush, but he's a little small, so I didn't shoot him. I could have shot him easily. Dead bear. He's just tiny. So I'm gonna pass. I still see him. He's up there right around 100 yards right now. I could have shot him when he walked across that clearing at 70 yards. He was just small. He came up to 15 yards in front of me, kind of saw me, and then turned back around. He's still up there. And at 70 yards, when I made up my mind to not shoot him, I turned my rifle back to safety. And when he got close, I had to turn it back on fire. It's on fire right now. So back to safety we go. I was just like, I need my rifle just in case this bear decides to charge me. But luckily he just kind of made his way back up there. Nothing else came out for the evening, so my dad and I were done for today. We're gonna call it quits and head back to the truck. Sun is basically gone, so no notch tag, but no complaints. Season is only getting better from here on out, so we'll be back out soon.